Welcome back to another episode of F&S Conversations. I'm Frank, and with me today we have Taylor, Celine, and Jay. And how you guys doing?
Yo, hi everyone. My name is Taylor Makoba. I'm a fashion model, and I like to think of myself as a creative director sometimes, and I'm doing very well, guys. How you doing, Marco?
Hi everyone, my name is Celine. I'm a visual artist. I also style, and I take photos as well.
I'm Jay and I'm a stylist. It's good to be here. Yeah.
Today's topic, we're breaking down the value of creatives. So the first question would be, what is a creative to you, or how does creativity speak to you?
Okay, cool. So in my opinion, I like to think a creative is someone who has the ability to give an idea or emotion structure. So oftentimes creatives do have ideas and carry certain emotions that they want to give structure to. And so I think that would be where the plasticity comes in. And plasticity is more of like the act of making.
Yeah.
So between sensibility and plasticity, creatives tend to form something out of who they are, in my opinion. So,
For me, in simple terms, a creative is someone who's able to take raw materials and turn them into something else. Yeah, it's about as simple as it gets.
Creative. For me, it has like its terms, it has its ways. Like there's the professional way of saying what a creative is, and there's like level base of what a creative is. Creative is someone who has like an imagination, like someone who uses their imagination and like literally puts it on the table, like through whatever processes they take it through, and they give like an end product. So it's literally someone who uses their imagination to bring something to the table.
Yeah.
That's how I like put, like if someone had to ask me like right now off top, like just thinking about it, like a creative is someone who uses their imagination to like give you a final product or whatever they saw in their mind, or like whatever they referenced from, or inspiration, where they picked up inspiration from. Because not everyone has like an imagination. Not everyone believes in the imagination, you know. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's how I'd say it. I'd put like a creative.
Right. And based on like what you guys have already said, right, and your understanding of what a creative is, because it's like 3 different explanations of a creative. As an individual sitting in this room, how does it like speak to you? How does you being creative communicate to how an audience interacts to your work?
So for me personally, since I'm more like a model, my entire life I think I've always just like had a thing for like garments and just like understanding the process of it. And I think just coming from like an honest point of view, I always like to tell myself that it really does matter to me as to how much time the seamstress spend like trying to put that garment together, the tiresome hours that they have, just like trying to figure out how they could produce like a certain product that could strike the target market or the audience that they're looking to get into. So for me, it's always just been a thing of like, I'm always just like trying to show it to people that like, even if I'm dressed in like a trench coat, and like I just gotta show it to you that someone was in the room for about like 10 hours just like trying to get that pattern. And it's like, that's how I think I would like to, or how I present it to more of like an audience in a sense. Because it's like, you have people that look onto you for direction, and when they tell you that, like the way that you present this to us is just like in this sense. And when you get that feedback as to how you doing it for people, I think it's always just like a kind reminder, and it tells you that like you're presenting it in more of that sense.
I think to pick up where you left off, like it's great to have ideas and be creative, but it's very important to have an end goal in mind and have whoever's problem or whoever the audience is in mind while you're creating. So yeah, for me, that's normally a part of the process. I'm a visual artist, so emotions play a huge role in everything, and even though I don't feel like I've gotten there yet, I would like to get to a point where somebody can see my work, firstly identify with it, and also get some sort of emotion from it that hopefully helps them in some way or another at some point. Yeah.
How painful was on flex?
How, like, I mean, you were stylist and a CD, right?
Yeah.
CD is a creative director. For you as an individual, right now in this room,
Yeah.
how does that creative aspect speak to you? Like, how do you go about your processing?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, if I was a designer, for example, right? If I was a designer, my process would come from, you know, I don't know, going to the farms and experiencing all the cattle and sheep and all of that that's around me. Or if I went out of the city just to gain inspo, then come back and like come to me with my design process to have the garments ready, and then I know who to select for this specific garment.
Yeah.
And that's my process, and that's how it will speak to me and for my audience, you know. So how does that work with you?
That's a powerful question. Like I say, creative, like as I see it, someone with the imagination. So as a stylist and myself, I have to allow myself to tap into the imagination that I have. You know, like I have to give myself the freedom to tap into. You know, there's this saying, it says, okay, I might not say word for word, but it goes. Sometimes you really have to push to the edge to really know what the edge is, and then we can realign ourselves to what's important and then what really works. So with me, when I have to like go about styling, like I have to give myself like time and process and like thought process that okay, what's my route, like what am I working on, like where am I getting my inspiration? I'm always on the road, so my inspiration is always on the road. I mean, I give it things you get spending. So sometimes in Uber, or sometimes boys drop me off, you know. So it's like my everyday encounters with life and how people dress. That's where I pick up my styling ethos. Like that's where I pick up. Okay, this is what people wear. This because now about the food, like you get to understand what type of person the person is, and you get to understand, okay, what or understand. So with my styling, I get to meet like a lot of people, you know, rich people, middle class people, poor people. So you get to understand how they dress, how they represent themselves. So you get ideas of like, okay, if I had to go style for a brand like Drip or like Batu, I have to really understand the end user, Batu, to really go style someone. I shouldn't focus on the model, but I should focus on the end user. And really like go into like, okay, the end user wants to look like this, the end user is going to the mall on the weekend wearing a batu, the end user is wearing a batu on a weekly basis going to work, understand? So my processes, I have to tap in the human nature of whoever I'm styling. Understand? So that gives me the amount of creativity to allow us, okay, but then it's okay, who am I styling and then for what purposes, you know, like so that it sinks in with their personal style, but then it also has my taste to it. That's my imagination put forward. So that's my answer to the question.
Even just like also understanding the backstory of like the brand.
Yeah.
Just like where they're from and what inspires the brand.
Exactly. I feel like with you also as a model, like if a photographer or like the brand, like if they book you, you wouldn't go there and be like, okay, I'm gonna shoot for this brand. It's like, what does this brand want? You probably look at like their old pictures, like how model they pose, you know, like what type of face you have to pull for it. You allow the photographer and the director to put you in that blood, and you're not there just like smiling. You trying to take their ideas and like present it, you know. So a lot of people might think modeling is easy.
That's not easy.
It's really not.
I don't. These things are easy, bro. But I hear you guys, and I don't have much to say, to be honest.
What are your processes?
My process.
Yeah, let's go. Let's hear it.
Mine, yo, I actually haven't thought of this before, like ever, because I think maybe my processes are from the love of football. Like I'm from a family where I knew growing up, my dad would like just speak to me about basically why, it's like if you want to become this particular player, look at them, focus on them, and then gravitate that idea to you. And obviously, over time, I had to like get used to the dynamics of like, my parents divorcing, and it's like, yo, how do you actually interact with yourself as a person? And now when football is no longer the first love, what else do you enjoy? And then I had friends in high school who used to like put me on like, pack, and they were like, yo, bro, this is something that you can enjoy. You fit the identity. And at first sight, you're like, I just want to play football. I want to be Ronaldo. And that's every kid's dream and I guess moment in their lives. But when all these changes happen, we then realize that there's actually a place for you elsewhere. That's when I discovered being creative and what it offers. So my processes then come from home and my disadvantages from home, which created that barrier underneath to make me a better person. And from that stage, my friends became an influence more than just what we do when we go out. It's also like the honest conversations we can have together and be like, yo, bro, the last time what you said touched me or ate dog at home was tough. And, I can sit down and actually listen to that person or we can laugh about stupid things, and also I guess TV. I'm a huge fan of like cartoons as well as like, I'm at documentaries and you get a sense and a feeling of someone's mind and you tap into their souls and you want to investigate and get your answers, even though you like always shut down from certain experiences, like you always want to go back and do good for somebody else. And I think my processes come from that. I just want to do good for people. And that's the development of Frankenstyles as a production. I'm not doing this for myself anymore. It's for people. It's for an audience to engage with me, but for them to also walk in the room and be like, I feel accepted here. This is home. And obviously I've done like the modeling, the styling, and it's all had its stories, but I feel like right now what we're doing with the styling, it's like, okay, I'm enjoying this, I'm having fun. I can play around with the pieces. I can be told that the last time an outfit didn't bag, but this is what you can do. I can have Pinterest. Some people will be like, don't use Pinterest. It blocks you from creativity. And you're like, okay, what now should I do? And all of that just brings me into like one idea, and I'm just like exploding every time I come up with like crazy things. And I hate it, but I enjoy being told that you do good. And I always act surprised, like, oh wow, really? But that is actually another way of expressing myself. And that's how I gain a lot of my knowledge. Because then what you say to me and you can't say in front of these cameras is an opportunity for me to not just speak for myself, but for others. We've had that insightful first intro, and just hearing what you guys have said, it brings me to this question. Well, it's like two questions. The first one is, how do you measure the value of a creative? And the second one is, well, how does it contribute in your specific industry? So you guys can take a moment to think about it, and whoever's ready to answer can dive in.
What do you mean, like, value first? Like,
The value.
yeah.
Like, what does value mean to you as a person?
Like, you need to be adding something to someone's life in order for them to want to partake or buy or whatever. I think that's
So that's
the crux. That's what
that
that
common
is.
understanding of value to you, add that to why you are a creative and how it contributes to your specific industry.
Okay.
So, just an example, and I'll keep it short. My value to style people is because of the love I have for clothing. And I enjoy seeing other people happy in these clothes. And it makes me happier That's my value. Because I feel like I'm adding something to somebody else's identity.
Okay, now I feel like I can have an adequate answer based on what you just said.
Yeah.
For me, the value of art is having something to look at that is first an extension of the artist, so you have sort of an understanding of, well, hopefully the person would be able to look at the work and have an understanding of what message the artist was trying to bring forth or what they were trying to speak about. I think art is important in the sense that artists are the ones that are supposed to bring up things that are of relevance in terms of current affairs, injustices in the world, people that are underrepresented. I think art plays a huge role, whether it's in the form of graphic design or actual sitting down and painting or digital art. I feel like all the mediums are very important in the creative industry. Yeah.
And I mean, speaking on like the injustice of the world and so forth, I feel like visual artists have played like a huge role in the past. Even in like current affairs, like, okay, in the past, in terms of like apartheid, like how our parents' generation would go around like painting like what they see in the roles of like the Afrikaners against the black people, like that's value of being an artist around that time. Understand? They
bringing education to
exactly
the time.
in terms of like visual representation. Understand? Because not everyone went to school around that time.
True.
So like a lot of people could understand what's going on through like a visual representation. So that artist would then put the value in the whole industry of visual artists in that form. So like with current affairs, it's like with your like there's a lot of things, but then that's like my sense of like understanding.
Okay, so you guys got the gist of it.
Fun.
It's a little tricky. My personal opinion, it's a little tricky question because like
Think about
value and fashion and
it.
time.
Also, like, sorry to like cut you, but just to make it easy for you, like think about the conversations you have with me, the values of each conversation you've had. And what do you gain from that? Like what you've told me, or what you can tell a Wanda, or a female that's trying to find out what you do and how you do it, or like a boy that's, interested in like Taylor's identity and they trying to indulge themselves in you. Like, how would you add that value to them?
Can I jump in?
No, it's okay. Listen, no, not that I'm actually struggling. But
No,
it's
you're
just
not. You're not.
Like, it goes like such a long way because it's like I get to speak from like so many points, like where I actually stand as like someone who's in the creative scene, just like specifically fashion. So like I get to meet like so many people. Right? It goes down from just like beautiful to multi-talented people, and you just like get to engage with so many people. And I know we're talking about the value of what I do, but I just want to speak on this. It's that you meet so many creative and talented people. And just like engaging in so many conversations with people, you get to learn so much, not just about them, but just about yourself as well. And just like having met these amazing people, I've just like come to learn so much, and I feel like it's also just like given me the opportunity to just like want to communicate or share the information that I have attained by tweeting most times.
You tweet that a lot.
So it's a thing of my biggest priority in the absence of opportunities, information. I always try to just like find the information until the opportunity presents itself, and I just always feel like when it presents itself, it's just always more of like a better presentation. And just if I were to speak on value, I think of myself as a catalyst in the field that I play. Like I'm always just like there to boost the process of creativity. It wouldn't be more of like a fashion orientated production without a structure, albeit a model. So I think just like having myself in that space and understanding that like people trust you with the ideas that they have, the product that they've designed, it just goes a long way, and it states that
Can I also chime in while he's...
sure, I'm just like, it's, I want
I
to say
feel like
so
models are, especially in this day and age, models are important for representation.
100%.
I think if there's anything else that you bring, it's the fact that someone out there can see themselves in you,
100%.
in, you know, the most expensive garments and feel like, okay, you know,
Like they
there's a
can
chance for
actually
me.
do it. I'm
Yeah.
saying, so that's what I'm trying to say, like, because you want to communicate the fact that yo, look, I'm model, and there's so much that goes on. You have a team of like creative directors, you have your creative directors, your fashion stylists, you have the photographer. And even if it's just like a shoot that you're doing personally with someone and they have a specific idea that they want to present, and it's like you're responsible for so much that happens in that space, and it's like, I just feel like I bring, or the value it would bring would be, this is such a tricky question, Frank.
You never know about this, right?
Entirely, because I think it really does go a long way.
I guess also you're not at fault for like having an answer now, because the moments that we always caught in don't allow us to sit down and think about
100%.
questions. You know?
I think even now, like speaking, I'm so sorry to cut you off. It's like when you go through so much and you constantly spend so much time on the road, and it's like, yo, you never stop to just like think of all the things that you've gotten to experience. But I could just simply say that the value it brings is that you're just like responsible for more of like an illustrated center piece of work, and just like having to be in that position, being trusted enough to just like produce like a quality set of work is just something that means the world to me. And I just like having had the opportunity to just like have people reach out to you and let you know that you're inspiring me, like how are you doing it so I could possibly do it, and just like also helping people get their things together so they could be in a position that I'm in. It's just that's something that I've come to appreciate and value so much more, because it's really not about me. I think if anything it would be really nice to just like have a lot of people come alive in the way that I have, and I think if it ever happens that we get to like a better position, we could do it for other people as well, and that's the value it carries for me.
That's I think everything we should be going for, you know, because now we are able to look at our own South African inspirations, you know. Before we never had that. Like I'd have to look at a dope Gucci model or a specific stylist
From the US.
from the US.
So that's where the value
You
comes
know, and now I'm able to go back home and sit down and be like, oh, and like, Kabza inspires me, you know. And this is something he also said to me, like, the fact that you guys are now able to have us inspire you guys. We never had that back then. So it makes it easy for you to kind of want to do this, because then you can always have that background search.
You've seen someone else,
you know, and it's evident, like it's now something that is out there and people are doing it. So I feel like there's a lot of us now who are actually marching out and doing this consistently on a daily basis. And that's the value we're actually bringing in. Sometimes we think the value is us making the money or selling the product or whatsoever, but it's actually being able to let someone get an infrastructure of this idea and build onto it. You know, like we've seen what Virgil has done for high-end and streetwear, and just from that itself created like a movement. And yes, the movement has always been there, but like from just 2017 going to whenever, we've seen like the improvements of just how it is. And now you are realizing that everyone has the potential to actually create something and contribute to that specific industry. And this is, especially in South Africa, like the crazy thing is, we've got insane talent. I back myself.
Yeah.
Like I back us up. Like we've got insane talent from like filmmakers, photographers, you know, whatever you were doing. The mindsets that these people have, insane. and I would be one to say, yo, do this, bro. If you have a camera right now, do it. If you have an iPhone 6, whatever, like create.
Yeah, people say all the time, like, use whatever resources you have at your disposal.
100%. And I think
As you grow, obviously, you're gonna acquire better equipment or
Exactly.
meet better people, whatever it may be that you need to make your whole creative endeavor a reality.
100%. And I think like it matters so much like that you've actually done something with whatever it is that you possess at that time, for as long as the idea just exists.
Exactly. That you follow through as well, because then you have the confidence to know, like, okay, I can actually do this. It's not just something that's in your head the whole time. Yeah.
So for me also, like with what you guys have said, value also comes with hopefulness. I don't know if
Yeah, you have
makes
to have
sense.
some sort of faith as
Yeah,
well.
like it comes with that thing. It's like if I have to take it to like the groundwork of like being a creative, 10 years back, like especially being black, like born in a black family, if you had to tell your parents or family that ngiyofunda i-fashion design, like ngiyofunda i-styling, ngifuna ukuba i-model, it's very hard to put value on that. You understand? So value in that sense will come in you maybe getting your first gig, like your lady got a paycheck on top, and then that's like value. You say that value doesn't have to be money, but judging like to some extent value would also come with like showing people that what you're doing can like
Sustain
you understand? What you're doing can make you a better person in society, can take you from one place to another, can allow you to branch out, meet new people, new environments, travel. So value, speaking on oneself, has to come with that, and then value onto like other people. Like if you look at modeling, 20 years, 30 years back, it was only like white, skinny models running. Understand? Until we got your Naomi Campbell, till we got your Tyra Banks, till we got more black models in, till we got plus size models now. Understand? Till we got more dark skinned models now. That's where value comes in, because it took one black model to run the catway, and then value was put into the next black model to like, nah, if she could do it, if he can do it, I'm going to do it. So that's them also putting value in the society and in the industry that person like me can also do it. You understand? Like I was watching one video. She's an Ethiopian model. She went into tears that she did what she did because of someone from Ethiopia did it. So like value comes in that aspect too. Like what you were saying about Gaga, they so with them pushing the industry, that's value. That's value to us. To them, value could be like making new garments. To us, what they're doing, the value will come in. No, Kabza is doing it. Let's also do it. Understand? We can do it because it's.
I'm sorry to interrupt, guys. Who's Gaza? Because
I'm
I'm thinking Gaza was
Khumo.
small. I kid you not, the whole time, like, Gaza was not get up.
Khumo, Kasi flavor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So value
Should have said the sense. Just being that
So yeah, value has, for me, is quite diverse. Just like listening to you guys speak, it's a very diverse thing when it comes to like industry, when it comes to careers. It has different roles to play at different times, and some people value it in a different aspect, and you may value it in a different way.
But anyways, what do you guys think of the current state of fashion in South Africa? Like, just quickly jog your memory down.
I feel like right now we're at a great space. It's specifically because there's more than one designer that's being talked about. I feel like all these years, it's always been one person. Like it's either a Khan or Gavin Roger of the time, or for 5 years it's David Lale. Right now we have Abulu Khan, we have Rich, we have Tebe, and they're all doing high-end stuff. That being said, I feel like our streetwear stuff has a ways to go. There's a lot of it going on, but I feel like, man, they still need to take it to the next level before we can have like a nice off-white brand that's like a staple in the South African fashion industry. But I think we're well on our way because like 20 years ago, it was non-existent.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All I can say, straight to the point with a full stop at the end, buy local, yo.
Yeah.
And I think it's very much, it's a period of the buy local because it contributes, it has an impact on the designer's approach on things as it does how change their lives, and it inspires them to just like continuously keep going. Because as you buy local, it helps take them to a point whereby they feel like they could perform as much as Teba's performing, as much as Lukanyo's performing. And also just like seeing those specific brands such as Tebe, Rich, Lukanyo doing their thing. I think it also just like inspires most local creatives to just like try and take it to that level. And also it's like a set piece of information that they get to see that, yo, we could actually try, maybe move away from streetwear and actually take it to more of like your formal set gear and actually present it in this manner that we could actually break through in a sense.
Why should I be lost? Why me? Just from what he said, buy local, find your favorite brands, and take your time in terms of what brand you are into, what you like. I'm just gonna give it away. Like my favorite is Happy People, and just everything that they do speaks to me. From like those leather jackets, and I've seen like sample pieces that they.
But wait, before are they more?
They're like streetwear, but also
okay.
I think for me they like not there.
Yeah.
But they'll get there. Like maybe there's something brewing, we don't know.
No, it's definitely.
But like from what I've seen like 3 years ago to now.
There's a lot of
It also, like what you say, if people don't know, there is quality in SA. Like all these streetwear brands, like it's quality, bro.
A lot, bro.
All the, like most that we wear, it's all quality.
A lot. Also like the acknowledgement of thrifting. That contributes a lot to. I'm not one to go out and thrift, but
I'm an avid thrifter.
things you know, I know of people that like every day between
Thrift Olympic.
Yeah.
get the pieces.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of nothing, but I appreciate people that go thrifting because the pieces I see on a daily, I wish I'd have that in my wardrobe, and literally. So think about it: thrifting, find the right brand, then move on to the next phase, and that's how you kind of grow out into whatever you're doing. And obviously, then it comes down to the challenges. Like, what challenges have you guys faced as individuals? And I'll start by saying I've faced a lot of challenges through, obviously, family not believing in what I do, payments, zero. Like sometimes you go back home and you I just woke up at 5 in the morning, and from 5 in the morning, I come back at home at 6. I've only been given a snack to eat on, and the rest of the day is chat.
What you say, like to someone who's like coming up, like what will your feedback be? Like just like 2 minutes feedback, like yo, we know the value of what we do, but with the challenges that come, like with each of us, if just 2 seconds, like to anyone that wants to like get into like the creative industry, like what was your vote of confidence, or like your last words to them be, like just 2 seconds on like anyone. Well, for me, I'll start just like anyone wants to be like a stylist personally. I feel like, because I've spoken to like a lot of stylists, like you have to be brave, number one. Number two, allow your imagination to carry you. Don't be afraid, and you can do it on your own.
Yeah, facts.
You can do it on your own. Just like
I think
break the boundary.
with me, because I sometimes don't think I have a title but I'll just say the stylist because also I've got F&S happening and it's a production.
Yeah.
So I'll speak for the production as a whole, and I feel like my reasons to do it is because of the love I have for a team. Like I said, my control process comes from football. So that thing of having a number 11 and number 10 and working together,
Yeah.
you know, I enjoy that a lot. And for me, it's something that's going to take me far. And I'm patient enough to, you know, clap for people who are winning currently, and clap for you guys if you are doing something amazing. And let's show love, bro, because this industry is all about love. And we are later gonna sit down, watch this episode, and be like, hey, I said some dope stuff right there. You know, so that's just what I aim for, and that's what I want from the production.
What was the question so that we can answer quickly before? Guys, there's load shedding that's about to happen, so yeah, you
Just
guys know
like
the country we live in.
With load shedding, so
Load shedding is also a problem.
you know, it's a challenge of being a creative. Just like the last 2 seconds,
Bro.
someone wants to be a visual artist.
I've lost so many shoots because of load shedding, just saying.
Really?
It's been crazy.
Hectic.
But yeah, like I think I just want to also share some words. Frank was just saying like the idea of just touching on love. I think my entire time just being in the industry, I've seen so much change like in my career by just showing up in spaces and showing love and just engaging and communicating with people. You say you could do it alone. I personally just feel like you can't do it on your own. Yes, it's possible. You could get to like a certain point, but you need 2 feet to walk and not just one.
It's that's a conversation for another
100%. But like, yo, for me, man, I've had conversations with these guys, and what I've come to learn is that affiliation is important. You could be the very best person, you could be sick and talented, but if you're not affiliated with anyone, you wouldn't really push that far. I was having a conversation with the big brother of mine. I don't want to say names, but he said to me that you need to work on being likable constantly, because a lot of people in the creative space like to work with who they like.
Yeah, because being a creative comes with emotions.
100%. So if anything, just like my words of encouragement is that just like love, just show love every time you show up, and don't ever think you know everything, because no, you don't. And prioritizing
Always be teachable.
100%. Like I think just like being teachable is so beneficial, and also just like ask for help when you're stuck. Don't think like, yo, I'm gonna sit and I'll wait. Maybe like, they'll hit me up next week. Next week they'll hit you up. Now I'm gonna wait another week. You just gotta ask for help when you're stuck, and when you have ideas, communicate with the people that you have around you, and you need to be able to sacrifice what you have to get to the next thing. You gotta put in money to get money out somehow, and it's not really about the money all the time.
Right. For me, I think the most important thing is to start. Like, everything everyone has said is lovely, but if you're in a room watching other people do stuff and not pushing yourself enough, I feel like you're playing yourself.
Yeah.
Get out there, try. Hit people up, DM guys. Me, I don't care about DMs. I DM, even if it's embarrassing and I know the person might not respond, at least you know you're doing something, you know, you've taken a step in
whatever you
and it all adds up. So another thing that he said that I also believe is community is extremely important. Having an ecosystem around you as a creative where people can reach places where you can't necessarily reach, but you need to take those steps in order to get to where you want to go. I think it's very important to have people around you. It's important also to have things and outlets other than you being outside of you being a visual artist that also help you, because sometimes you don't always feel like painting. Sometimes you're depressed and you need other outlets to inform your practice. I think those are the most important things for me. And also putting yourself out there, like go out to these events. Like I know it's sucky going there, not knowing anyone, standing against the walls, but like you
Tiny.
it helps to be seen. It really helps to be seen. So yeah, guys, put yourself out there, persevere, send those DMs. That's my advice.
They go down. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think we've all had like a lot to say, and just to close it off, let's continue showing love and inspiring each other. Because I think if somebody can see that I inspire you or you inspire me, then they gain the confidence to hit up someone. And I know sometimes, guys, you are nervous, or we could say now, like, yeah, hit us up. And then you hit us up, and it's like, I don't get a response from
Yeah,
you.
but you can't be entitled to someone. That's the flip side. You can't be
Yeah,
entitled to
like-
someone actually doing something about you.
That's when I say you can do it on your own.
Like, yeah, like there's certain breakdowns that we shall come back to when we give you guys the next episode, or part 2. And yeah, man, I feel like overall we've given people like a brief understanding of like the value of a creative and like what it stands for.
And the challenge.
And the challenges, you know, and also our own personal challenges and what we've gained from that as well. So there's a lot of beauty that's been shared on this table and on this day. So I appreciate it, and I think you guys are amazing. I'm wishing you guys the best of luck in what you're doing. You know, if you have an exhibition, tell us. We'll come.
Soon.
You know, if you're doing a model in France, tell us. When we there, take a flight.
Let's go, let's go.
If you're studying for whoever, tell us.
Let's go.
Let's go. If you're shooting a movie, tell us. We were there. Trust me, we'll be there. This year we're going all out for everyone. And if you want to go to the party, tell us. We'll be there. And you see that one, we'll be there. Social events, we'll be there. We'll come through with that energy, with the love, and what you're receiving from us now is what you'll get in person. We love you guys, and thank you for being with us.
Woo!